Commence primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and I'm so excited to be chatting with you today because I'm going to be giving you an interview with some of our community leaders in the Star Wars Unlimited Portland chapter. We call this group the SWU PDX group, and I've just been really happy to share this with you. So we have a Discord group of 200 plus members for one city. I'm in a few different Discords, and I can tell you that that's a pretty high number compared to what you see for Discords for full states. It's also really great because this is a very active and growing community where we have channels for all of our stores, representatives of stores coming in to kind of talk about that. If you're unfamiliar, the Portland area does have 10 plus stores in it carrying Star Wars Unlimited, so it's definitely a lot to manage. So we're going to sit here and chat with Peter, Dan, and Jennifer, who are all leaders in our community who have been growing this group for several months. These are people that I've been talking to and playing games with since the start of Star Wars Unlimited, and the potential that they have here is great, and as they've definitely have come really far. You'll hear us talk about it a little bit, but we're just coming off of the PAX West event here in Seattle, Washington, where the PDX group was able to organize a bunch of people. We had shirts made prior to the event to support the community, and so many of us wore our specific Portland Star Wars Unlimited shirts there, and some of us traveled together, some of us took public transport, but a lot of us were just met up while we were there, and it was so fun seeing community members. So I'm happy to share this with you for those of you who are looking for other ways of how do you grow your Discord, how do you grow your community, where can you start, and how do you involve stores in your community. So the first question I have for y'all as a group of the, Star Wars Unlimited PDX chapter, how did you three come together to form this group?
Do I have to
Dan, that one's yours.
So I think really the initial thing is when I saw this game, I was like, oh, this looks like a fun game. And Peter and I were talking, and I just off the cuff, honestly said, hey, Peter, we should make a Discord server. Like literally that all said. And Peter's like, cool, on it. And Peter made a Discord server. And so that's kind of how it started. And then I think, how did we meet you, Jennifer? I don't even remember.
At the pre-release,
right,
hosted by Peter with a big group of people. I mean, it was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not 1,000, but and then that was the first time we met. That was also the first time I whooped you with IG.
That is very true.
Yeah, that's how the legacy started.
Yes.
But then I don't really know how. Then I think it was just, hey, let's get together and play.
Yeah.
And then we just played, and then from there, just while we were playing and chatting.
Yeah, so it's very organic. I mean, honestly, we just like Peter and I work together, like, so we've known each other for years. So that's how we connected. But then we just met Jennifer, and we just started playing on Saturday mornings and talking in Discord.
Yeah, so you guys, it's always great when a new game comes out and you're able to find a community, and you guys kind of took charge in a lot of that. What was that like? Right now the community group's a little over 200 and it's really active. But what was it like in the early days of just kind of building this up? As you three meeting and forming the Discord, what did that look like for y'all? Was that a little intimidating? Was it just trying things out and seeing what happened? Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we really expected much from it. It was just more of a space for a few of us to just get together and talk about the game. And then all of a sudden, other people were inviting other people, and then it just kind of started to grow. And then from there, we're like, oh, maybe this is a thing. So Dan suggested that maybe we should just create a space to kind of like talk to the stores, get them involved.
Yeah.
And I think that's when things really got to... Because the stores were just like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we brought them on, and then we shared our links with everybody, and then it just sort of blew up from there.
I think one thing we did deliberately do, I think we reached out to a couple of store owners and said, hey, we got this Discord, you want to be in here and invite stuff. And so they did that. And so I think we even maybe posted in like the store Discord. So it started to bring some people over. And then I forget when it was exactly, but we said, hey, we should have a channel for each store so they can sort of interact with people here. And so we started creating all those. And then as we created those channels, we said, hey, we should actually reach out to someone at each store and get them on this Discord. And then we created a store owner role. I forget what we call it, but we gave them a role so they can be highlighted. And then there's also a channel, a super secret channel of store folks that can kind of coordinate and talk there. I think we started that actually as a suggestion from a store employee on kind of coordinating when they did the first store showdowns. Like, hey, can we all get together as a community and maybe not step on each other so people can do this? And so we said, sure, let's create that channel and let you guys interact there. So
now was that I remember watching a lot of that, and here in the Portland area there are so many stores, and at the time I think there were probably 9 when the game was about to launch carrying the products. So was any of that intimidating as far as just reaching out to stores and trying to get them on the involved in the community and platform, or did it seem for y'all, was that you seem pretty confident in having those conversations, or did it seem pretty inviting from stores to have those conversations?
I'll answer. Peter can answer too, but it wasn't. Excuse me. It wasn't really intimidating for me. I mean, most of the time it was we just ping somebody on Discord because we would go to their store Discord server and find out who it was. And several of the stores, like I had been in person and knew who to talk to, and there were a couple of other stores. Some of the bigger ones we sort of had to go through to find the right person to talk to that was sort of facilitating that game. So that was, I don't want to say it was intimidating, but probably a little bit more of a challenge. And then as a couple of newer stores, and the stores are not necessarily newer, but they have added Star Wars later, and we heard about it, like we just showed up at the store. I mean, literally, I just went to the store and said, hey, I have this Discord server. And they're like, great. Yeah, put us on there. So all the stores have been overwhelmingly supportive, and it's been super easy. They're like, yeah, we'd love to be on there.
Awesome. That's great. And we just did the big PAX event where you guys were able to organize, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that more in some other questions, but I think it was a good example of having such a large community and what the potential of building that further looked like. What do you guys what do you enjoy the most about being part of such a large community here in the Portland area with Star Wars Unlimited? Yeah.
I would say for me, this is the first real card game or TCG that I've ever played. So I am super new to the gaming community in general. And I am not a dude. I'm not a guy. and it is intimidating to walk into those spaces for the first time. And I feel like for me, the thing that I love the most about this game, it turns out I'm quite competitive. So I like to play, and as an adult, there's not many things you get to win anymore. So I do like that part. But I think for me, I feel like as an older gray-haired lady showing up at these things, I feel like it's important to me to be as weird as I want to be, so that everybody else who maybe isn't typically in those spaces can be like, whatever, there's a big weirdo. I guess I can be a big weirdo too. So for me, that's like kind of letting your freak flag fly, to be so welcoming to everybody. You don't have to look like anybody to come in and do this thing.
Yeah, I kind of second that. I think I am a dude, so I'm more the target demo for these things. But I'm in my 50s, and this is my first TCG too. So while I'm not quite as unique as Jennifer, I feel like I'm still a little bit out of the normal target demographic for these things, and just the community by and large has just been great. I mean, just almost everyone is just fun to play with, and it's just, hey, we're just having fun playing this game, and everybody's open. And Jennifer, like the first times I played her, and she rolls out her homemade sewed playing mat, and I'm like, okay, I got to talk to this woman. She's cool. But I think it's just that. Just hey, it's just we're pushing cardboard around on the table and having fun. And I just enjoy. I'm an introvert for the most part. I'm not super out there engaging with people, but this kind of feeds my social interaction that I need, and it's been really really fun just to kind of get to know people, and a lot of people that I think Jennifer and I were talking a couple weeks ago. We never would have met each other if it wasn't for this game, because like we're just we live quite a ways apart. We just never would have met each other, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and for myself, I mean I dabbled in games for a long time, but never got into I feel like this community kind of like as welcoming as this one. So yeah, I mean, part of the community building thing is really interesting to me. I'm also pretty introverted, so I don't get to meet a lot of people. And this was one way to sort of, I didn't realize there were so many stores in Portland, game stores, until I got into this game.
Yes.
I thought there was like maybe 3 or 4, and I come to find out there's like 10 plus or something.
Yes,
They're showing up all over the place. So it was a great way to meet new store owners, new businesses, local businesses, and more people. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely a large community, as you all share about experiences you had coming into it, and being a lot for a few of you your first TCG. Being here in the Portland area and working in the industry for a bit, I've seen a lot of new games start. I've always been partial to Star Wars games. So every time a card game begins in the city, I'm there. And with the first one from Fantasy Flight, it was pretty low. There's only a few stores, and it ended up being with like one of us and a community of around like less than 30. Destiny showed up. It was definitely higher than that, but at the end of Destiny, or even in the last 2 years, it ended up going down to 2 stores or 3 stores, sorry. And I remember thinking each of these stores have about 10 to 15 people. And I was like one of the few people I would see at each store. So it always felt really separated. And it felt like as soon as we got into Unlimited, obviously the hype was there. It's a large amount of people. But we were seeing, 20 plus at almost every store, and they were always different people. And I think that's been so great in, for myself, who I would also say I'm an introvert. No, it doesn't always seem like it. But, I'd go to all these stores and I'd meet all these new people, and same thing like Dan, like sometimes you just see interesting people and you're like, I would have never have met them. And there are definitely people I talk to and communicate with to this day, all because of, Star Wars card games. And, I'm excited for that to continue to happen here. The amount of people I've met so far, y'all, more store owners. It's wonderful because it's just more opportunity to meet people with a common interest. And what I love about Star Wars games is that's usually the first thing, right? Everyone comes in not saying, I just love card games. Majority of people say, I love Star Wars. Let's talk about that. And I think, Jen, you're kind of the biggest example of that. The times that we meet up, it's like, ooh, who are you representing in all your fashion statements today, right? And then it's just wonderful because you just meet so many people who can say like, yeah, I'm playing IG-88 because they're my favorite character because blank, 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 and blank. And I'm just like, that's great. I always get excited when people tell me why they're playing who they want to play in the text of, the Star Wars lore, rather than I'm playing it because of these mechanics and et cetera, et cetera. So always exciting.
And I like that there's room for both of those things.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can be as competitive as you want to be and build a deck on certain mechanics, or you can I love building janky decks because they're canon specific.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's wonderful. And to even go back to what you said, Jen, I think being a part of a large community can sometimes give you that freedom to express yourself more and show other people that it's, permissible, because a lot of people don't think they can have the permission to be themselves. And I think that's always what we want to do is be inviting. And I think, it's even better when we're part of a large, diverse group as we are, which is great. Are there any memorable moments or events so far that stand out to y'all? that whether it's within the Discord or just within the community?
I will say, so I'm going to say that honestly, my most recent favorite memory was going to PAX, which is stinking huge, and seeing our little matching t-shirts around and just recognizing so many people. Like that was really fun to be somewhere big and feel like you knew people in a huge place. That was great.
That was really cool. I'd never been to PAX before, never been to a game convention like that, and so it was neat to just go. But yeah, there was all these people in these ridiculous purple Star Wars shirts,
spectacular purple Star Wars shirts
that we did, and it's like, hey, that's awesome. And we were to get comments from the FFG and Asmodee employees there and stuff, and that was just neat. It's like, hey, we're just here having fun, and we all enjoy this game, and everyone took a trip up to Seattle to try to get these really super cool, expensive cards.
Sweet little babies. Really pretty little cards.
Really pretty little cards, exactly. Yeah, I think that's probably the most recent memory, I think. I don't know, Peter, you got something?
Yeah. I mean, the trip up to PAX was really fun to get to know people a little bit further past the game. It's really cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm in my 40s, so I don't get to do this very often. And that was also my first PAX. Like I've known for PAX for a while when I was living in the East Coast, but never had a chance to actually go. So yeah, these people convinced me that I should go in my 40s. So I was like, okay, let's do this.
Hey, I'm really glad. It's been a decade since I went to PAX, and I was super excited, to give people some context here. I want to say it was maybe at least a month ahead of time, and I want to say the shirts were 2 months, but you guys were able to organize, create this awesome logo and a nice design, and get some shirts out to the community and kind of poll what people were looking for. And it got exciting as PAX was approaching. You guys were saying, well, what if we all went together or try to travel together? And it wasn't even like someone was saying, make sure you wear your shirts. Everyone just wanted, made sure to wear shirts so we could be recognizable, so we could see each other for the first time. And, for us in the Portland area and the Washington area, it's a train ride up to Seattle, and you guys were able to get, let a lot of people know that a few of you were taking the train up, and everyone could join in and be a part of that group. And whether they were going there to get the special convention box, or they were playing in the big events, or they just wanted to hang out and check out PAX. It was really cool. And being someone who was there, and I didn't get to take the train up, but when I got there and I'm in my purple shirt, it did not take long for someone else in a purple shirt who I haven't met before to come up to me and start talking of like, oh, you're here, like blah, blah, blah. Like, and that was really cool. 'Cause immediately for someone who travels for a lot of events and who's done a lot of tournaments and a lot of conventions, I am very used to showing up places and being like, well, I don't know anyone here. I guess I'm just here to play the game and slightly socialize, and I'll check stuff out. And it was much nicer to go there and be like, I already feel connected to a group. And, there are very few people from the area that I didn't see there. And that was just, again, kind of what you said, Jen. It was so nice to just being like, hey, I usually see you once a month, and it's great to see you like here outside of our normal settings. And we can just chat and, walk around and experience the convention for what it is. And it was really great. So with a large and slowly growing Discord here, where you're at about 215 people, how do you keep community members engaged and active? And you mentioned earlier you have stores in the groups too. Do you have to do anything different there to keep store owners engaged? Does that look differently than just average players?
It's a really good question. I mean, I think, store owners and employees have different levels of engagement, right? Obviously, and some of them are very engaged and some of them aren't. Personally, I try to, and Peter tries to do this, I know, and I think Jennifer does, try to go around to the different stores. Like it's a lot. I live, in Vancouver, so it's a bit of a drive sometimes, but I try to go around to the different stores and just hang out with them and just talk to them to kind of let them know that the Discord's there. So that's kind of the way we do that. In terms of like in general engagement, and Peter actually brought this up like last week or so, how do we get people more engaged? And so if you notice, he created an off-topic channel, and that blew up into sewing, deep dive into sewing stuff.
And a sourdough start.
And a sourdough stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but throwing that in there to just go like, hey, here's some stuff to talk about off topic. So it's something we think about all the time. Like, how can we keep people engaged? And that's one, example of something we've done recently.
I think what's helpful too, I don't know how many store owners are in the individual store threads, but when people ask, somebody probably knows what time that event is, or to get a link to this thing, or knows the person to ping to get that information. So I feel like the whole community kind of chimes in to keep the store threads active.
I don't know how I missed that a starter dough conversation started. So, so I'm kind of excited for the future event where it is just everyone shows up in their homemade sewn play mats, and five people are exchanging sourdough, for people to start. Instead of trade binders, it's just that. And
right, exactly.
I'll bring my homemade soy candles.
There you go.
There you go. And then someone else was talking about bringing their what is it? Jars of
they were pickling and
pickling. Yeah, we were gonna barter.
Yeah.
This is so Portland.
That's what I was going to say. Nothing has described Portland as much as this question has so far.
Candles are expensive. What are you talking about?
Hey, I agree. You know what? Maybe, I have a hyperspace Avenger sitting here. How many candles can I get for it?
Exactly.
I feel like that's what I should have done, and try to convince. You should have made those extra shirts and used them for trades. That's what you guys should have been doing.
The thing that I like about that, though, I think my special homemade playmat did help me make interesting connections.
Yes.
But also, it's like the partners of people will be like, oh my gosh, can I take a picture of this? I need to send this to my wife, or I need to send this to somebody. And so it's this kind of making these other background connections. One of the ladies that comes to one of the other nights, I met through her husband who played. And I was like, oh my gosh, you need to come play. Right. And so just, I don't know, finding those weird connections that might not be Star Wars, and just opening up. You can have all kinds of weird interests and find some commonalities here and just come play this game.
Yeah, completely right. And from coming in from multiple Star Wars games, it's always fun where I can see people of like, for Dan over in the Vancouver area, it's Chris over at Batcave Games. I mean, he's someone who, him and I just have never had a chance to reconnect after the LCG ended, and we traveled everywhere to play that. And so, it's amazing how many people you do connect with just on the game, and how many people you can connect with outside of it. Just amazing. What are some things you guys have found? You mentioned a little bit already in how you've engaged like local stores, but is there any other strategies you found effective in getting them involved in the community? You've mentioned going into the stores, introducing yourselves, talking about the game, the community. You've mentioned, looking for the person who really kind of manages either their Discord or their events. Is there any other strategies you guys have found effective in just involving stores?
So I don't know if this is effective, but and this is actually other community members have really taken the lead, but there's a couple of stores that folks have kind of showed up to run their events. They're going to do a draft here next week, I think. And so using the Discord to help, get excitement for that and get people to want to come in to do that. It's a smaller store that's sort of just starting out, and so a lot of the community has jumped in to sort of help them run these things. And so that's one way we've done that. I think, I don't know if you guys have any other examples.
Yeah, I don't know. I just showed up, I guess.
Showed up.
Or even there's a little game store very near to me who didn't carry it. And I walked in there and be like, you got Star Wars Unlimited? And they're like, oh, well, maybe. And then I'd show up a week later. You have Star Wars. And now it turns out they do.
Nice.
Yes, they're not. I did. I low key bullied them into getting Star Wars Unlimited.
So bullying.
I love bully is an effective strategy. I also love how you whispered that at the end of like, now they have it. Like just trying to save all the Spark of Rebellion packs for yourself, I guess. No, and that's something I found effective as well. Being able to demo this game before launch. One of the things I wanted to do, I knew all the stores that were interested in the game, and I made sure to go to stores around me in the Vancouver area and tell them, I have a demo. Can I sit down and show you the game? And that was easy with someone like Chris at Batcave, because it's like, Chris, you love Star Wars. We played. Did you know about it? No. Immediately he makes time, like clears everything. Like, let's play this demo right now. And that's something I've always found effective. Like for me, in my experience working behind the counter and managing a store, was a lot of you get so much more investment in the game when someone from the store knows how to play it and enjoy it.
Yes.
And I think you guys can even think of the stores where it's just like, it's very clear someone's passionate about the game, and stores where it's just like, okay, that's a store where they just carry the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where some of these stores, especially the smaller stores where they don't have a huge staff, it's tough to be invested in every game. And so some of the things that I've seen effective is where community members can kind of come in and associate with that store and be that person that's excited about the game, to sort of help the store when they don't have the staff to do something like that with all the games that are out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, our Discord's a good example of that, as we see even stores coming in saying, hey, we're hosting an event, we're looking for people to come assist here, whether in a judge capacity or a organization capacity, which is great. Not just because it's more growth, but because it just kind of shows that stores are trusting the community and seeing that it can be a benefit to them, which in a lot of other card games, that's not something you throw out. I would go to say that I'm not going to hop in a Magic Discord as a store and say, can someone come and help me organize an event, because I don't know what I'll get. So it says a lot when you see a store do it in this Discord, where they can say, you know what, for generally this community is very good. And they can kind of take that with little risk, which I think is great. We've mentioned, you guys have done the PAX event, which is more of like, hey, we're all going. It'd be cool to see each other and go together. But there are any other events you guys are looking at getting organized in the future that you think would be fun for, the Portland community? Anything you guys are trying to do, not necessarily separate from stores, but obviously not directly under a store itself?
I feel like most of our quote organization has been like accidental or organic. Even the trip to PAX was, the matching t-shirts were my idea. Okay, I am going to say that part. But like even that, I knew I wanted to go. I knew I have an electric car. I can't get to Seattle on my own. So I thought, hey, I'll take the train. And then I just posted it. Hey, what about if we take the train? I think I'm going to do this. And then people then just did it. So it wasn't, I didn't organize it so much as throw an idea out, buy my ticket, and leave it to everybody else to figure out to meet on the train.
I think that's right. Like most of the stuff has been very organic. The one thing, and Peter came up with this name, Sip and Shuffle. Like it's like Peter and I and Jennifer would go meet at a coffee shop on Saturday mornings and just play. And we're like, hey, we should just post this and see if people want to come. And so we've done that a couple times. We've had some folks come. So we just go sit in a coffee shop and play Star Wars. And we've had several people walk by. Hey, what's this game? I think you guys even ran a demo for somebody, didn't you? One time? Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But that was fairly organic. Again, that was just us playing. And hey, we should invite some more people. I don't know if we necessarily have any super plans. Like I do want to stress, it's not like we have a grand plan here. We're like just doing stuff. One thing I think we've kind of talked about and planned, and I know I've had conversations with several people in the community, is, when Worlds, I guess the Galactic Championship, when that comes up next year, I think a lot of people would think it'd be really cool to go there, and we can all wear our t-shirts and stuff. So I think that's something we'll probably be a little more formal of helping to plan once we sort of know the details of where that is and stuff, because I think there's a little bit more logistics to that than just showing up on a Saturday morning to play. But a lot of this stuff has been just really organic.
Yeah, and I love the sip and shuffle. It seems, that obviously is a great presence because it's a way of meeting people a little bit where they're at, having a little bit more casual fun where it seems, it's easier to kind of enter that, and it's less intimidating to go to a coffee shop than it is to a store or a tournament. But also kind of, as you said, it's, you're going to get more eyes on the product and more eyes on the community, which I think is great. And you guys have done one of those so far, or two? I feel like you've done more than a couple.
Yeah,
two officially, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
we try to do one a month, and
Yeah.
we kind of try to coincide with another store because we'll play at the Sip and Shuffle and then go to another store afterwards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you want to really
Yeah,
play
you
Star Wars for like
All
7
day.
hours
Yeah,
or
you
something,
can do it.
Yeah.
you could, but yeah.
Well, I know we do, as we look back at previous pre-releases or even release days. I know the four of us are usually traveling around all those weekends.
Yes.
So what I do love when you guys are always doing, we're going to do sip and shuffle and then we're going to this store after, it seems very much like that family friendly bar crawl that's happening. It's just, yeah, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's not something we can do of just constant, Star Wars crawl, but I think I think that's what makes it fun, right? Because it's inviting, it's engaging. It's like, hey, we just had some fun playing casually. Now we're going to go do this event and keep it going. And that's awesome.
My next, because I remember when I went on the release day for this most recent set, that I saw like running into people in the parking lots and at the stores as we're all making our rounds, right?
Yes.
Like I saw you outside one of the stores and we chatted for a bit, and that for the next one, this isn't an organized thing, but maybe it will be now that it's going to be announced to the world, right? That I didn't take that day off work. And I actually think it'd be super fun to take the day off work and then meet up somewhere, eat pizza or not. We can't touch our cards with greasy hands, but then just to like crack some packs together and just be like, oh my gosh, look at this cool card. And oh, I got this. Or, oh, hey, let me see what that card looks like. And I just think that'd be super fun rather than sitting at my dining room table by myself, right? Cracking open packs. So that's my maybe low key.
I think we should try that this time. Let's all take the day off and go somewhere and boxes.
Yeah.
I've done it twice, and it's now, after doing it twice, I'm like, I'm always just going to take the day off. So it's so much fun, and it's great. It's one of those fun things. I'm like, I'm just running into everybody, or I'm meeting people I never see because sometimes they just come out when the game starts, and it's great. It's so fun, and luckily both times the weather's been amazing. So I don't know if that'll happen this November, but I want it to. What are some, are there any challenges y'all have faced in, keeping the community going at all, or just in general, like anything that if you have faced any challenges that you've overcome that you'd share for other people that are also wanting to grow their community?
I don't know. Have we hit any problems yet?
I haven't. I mean, I feel like you two are the ones who are more like running the Discord side of things. And what's been notable is that I haven't seen anybody posting mean stuff or like causing a ruckus online. You guys haven't. Yeah. Nope. So maybe it helps that we don't have an overall plan. Maybe there are no challenges if you don't have a plan to be disruptive.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I don't think we've really had any challenges, but again, to Jennifer's point, if you don't have a plan, then you really have challenges. But like, the community's been great. Like, you can get these online communities where someone's disruptive or whatever. We haven't had any of that, and so that's great. That's a testament to the people in the community, not us. It's not like we're doing anything. But I think the one challenge, and Peter and I have talked about this a little bit, is just engagement on the community. there's a lot of engagement and there's a lot of people there following, and I think they're probably getting the information that they need. But it's, it's a small number of people that are doing most of that engagement, which makes sense. You're always going to get that. But, can we broaden that and get more people kind of feeling comfortable to come in and talk about things? And that was part of the emphasis of the off topic, channel and stuff. And so we're trying to think of things there. I don't think that's a challenge. It's just, hey, could we do better at this, kind of thing.
Awesome. What kind of advice would you guys give to someone or a group of people who are looking to grow their community, whether they have a Discord already or they don't have one? It sounds like probably the first thing we would say, your advice may be like, go in without a plan. But but if someone did ask you, hey, we don't even have a Discord in our city yet. Or we do, and I have like 5 people. What can I do to get more people interacting in this channel?
I feel like you two have like really made a point when a store is having an event or they're starting a new thing. You show up and you meet the people and you talk to the people, and just I think that making those in-person connections sometimes, and I've given out the Discord link many times showing up, and I've had people even say like, oh, I've been looking for that Discord link, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it shouldn't be a secret, here, come join. And I just think it's person by person. I don't think that there's a massive plan, but those little connections, and you chat with people and you just welcome them in.
Yeah, I feel like consistency. I mean, even if it's just one store, like if Star Wars died right now and I only had these 2 to play with, I'd be totally fine with that. I'd show up to a store to keep on playing. It's okay. So having a small group that's consistent, then it allows other people, when they come and see it, they're like, oh, these people are coming in week after week. It's a place that I can go to, instead of this sort of like, oh, are there going to be anyone here this week? Which is a big issue, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and this game, being new, and it's come out and it's been, I think, wildly successful. Even the developers are like, wow, we're shocked. So it's been able to have that consistency in all these stores, and hopefully that'll continue. I think what Jennifer said about going to the different stores, that's important. Like, we've all kind of made a point of doing that. I've played, and I went to Forest Grove for a showdown once, so I drove way the heck out there. Which was cool, to go out there and see that store that I'd never been to before. So I think doing that really helps. And so that takes some effort. And then when we initially launched the Discord, I know we got a couple of our more vocal store owners. I'll just say Matt from Red Castle. And he's, we all know Matt, and he's great. And so, he was able to spread a lot of this because we sort of got him in there and he started doing stuff, and he has such a big reach. So just engaging with those stores initially to kind of get them to say, here, if the store has a Discord, hey, here's our Discord, and here's this other Discord that's trying to be like the hub for the city, I think was a good way to start. And that got us going down the road. And Peter and I were talking about this just earlier. We've had a pretty decent little growth spurt here recently. All these people are coming in from just Discord members sharing the link. So like, it's starting to get to that just pure organic now, right? Like, where there's just so many people in there that they're just sharing the links with others. And I think we had Peter track it, like someone shared a link and then that person shared a link just right away. So, but initially it was getting those stores involved, kind of getting to those areas where there was a lot of people to sort of get them involved, and then it just kind of has grown organically. And I think our growth chart has been pretty consistent curve. It's not spiking, but it's just been a slow growth the whole time.
I think that's really interesting about tapping into networks that already exist rather than trying to solely build your own. Those other networks exist. Find the person who is aware of that and let them help you spread the word.
Yeah. No, I think you are completely right there. That's the way I've been seeing it grow when I'm at stores and people are like, "Oh, there's a Discord," and someone's like, "Yeah, like I'll send you the link," or like, "Let me get your Discord," and and I've done that myself. But I see it where it's just, wow, you're seeing people become friends on Discord, like right there in real life, and then immediately they're like, "Great, now I'll send you this link," right?
Mhm.
Which is great. So two more questions for y'all. They may have very similar answers, but are there things you hope to see within the community in the future? And, you guys mentioned you don't really have like an overall plan or like goal of what you would like the community to be, but are there things that you hope to see in the next, year and a half?
Well, obviously matching sweatshirts.
It's getting winter. It's starting
exactly.
to get
You can't see it, but Peter is wearing the demo
Yes.
of the matching sweatshirt. So one of the things, and none of these are, I'm just going to speak for myself because we haven't really made any plans for any of these things. But being new to this, what's been really cool is people who are not new to TCGs and me picking their brain. I can name some people. There's one guy who is awesome at pulling apart your deck and be like, nah, dude, that's a dumb card. You got to do this and this. And tapping into some of that knowledge, because I can't just watch some video and feel like I understand it and have someone to sit down. And so I don't know if there's a way to make an event where you pick somebody's brain. You have like speed dating, right? Where you go around and they help you look at your deck. But like, I feel like there's a resource there that I would like to take advantage of. And I feel like I remember the first time I played, this was at a draft, and I played one of the guys who I was initially very intimidated by. He clearly plays a lot of games. And after he whooped me the first two games, I was like, give me another chance. Let me play one more game. And he helped me kind of see the lines. And he was gracious enough to do that. He didn't have to do that. And maybe I was just wild enough to ask, and he was gracious enough to say yes. So I think that support is out there, and I wouldn't mind finding a more like concrete way to make that support happen.
Building on that, one of the things, again, I'm coming into TCGs a lot later than most people, and I'm at an age where like it doesn't intimidate me if I come and some guy's being a jerk. It's like I just laugh at him, whatever, dude. We're just playing a game here, chill. But I can appreciate the intimidation to come into here, particularly for women, because they're just such a minority in here, and we all know the gaming bros or whatever you want to call them that can have that bad influence. And so that intimidation and that nervousness to come into these games is very real. And this game is so fun. Like, and most of the people in this community are just great. So being able to sort of open up those barriers in a way that people can feel safe. Like Jennifer is fearless. Like she'll just come in and whatever.
That's why I'm in the group. I'll just talk to anybody. That's my job here.
But I know I'm absolutely positive there are many other people that don't have that kind of attitude, but would love this game. And so I think, making it a welcoming place for people to come in, just to play the game, but then to learn how to get good at it without feeling like someone's just telling you, oh, you're just stupid. Why are you playing that card? It's like, no, this card doesn't do that. Maybe this card would do that better. We've talked about that a little bit, trying to facilitate some sort of teaching event. I don't know what it would look like, but hey, come bring your decks, and here's these people that are really good at these games, and they're going to be patient, and they're going to help you sort of understand these things. I think that would be really cool in a non-intimidating way, to get more people involved. So I think that would be what I would like to see.
And I will say, I did feel intimidated coming in initially, but I have had zero. I just haven't run into anybody who was actually not welcoming, right? By and large, I just haven't had any bad experiences. And I've talked to other women who have not yet played this game, who have said they've had bad experiences with other things. And I'm like, look, I have not had that experience. And not that every single, obviously there's room for jerks everywhere, but really overwhelmingly have just not had that experience, which maybe has helped me be like, whatever, dude, I'm here, I'm wearing some sparkles today, right? Like, so this community's really been really welcoming, even at bigger events that look scary. Nah, just show up, man.
Yeah. Agreed. I love your guys' ideas. I love what you're suggesting. I think there's a lot of potential with some of those things. And you guys get to bring in a whole new not a whole new perspective, but in leading a community that is TCG focused, y'all get to present well, we're all new to this, so why not try something, right? Like, whereas someone who is more experienced of like, oh, I've never seen that happen in a Magic community before, so I wouldn't suggest doing it. Where y'all have like, well, we have no idea what to expect, so why not suggest it and see what happens? Yeah.
We don't know enough to know any better.
Yeah. And it's one of those things of like, it can be successful. I mean, you mentioned a speed dating for deck tech, which I think speed decking would be it.
Speed decking. Oh, you just branded it, man. We're in.
That's me. But that can be so fun, right? Like, imagine if you just took your deck before we hit peak planetary qualifiers, and you took your deck and there were 5 people and they're like, hey, let's play a game. Show me what your deck does. I'll tell you where you could have done better. Hey, let me look at your deck. Okay, you're trying to do this with this card. I get it. Maybe it's an uncommon. There's a better legendary, but maybe there's a better rare or uncommon in between trying to do that. It's those things that people just don't know because they don't know they don't know to ask those questions. I think there's a lot of potential there. Last question. Very similar to what I just asked, but is there anything upcoming? You've mentioned this, you have some sweatshirts in the making, but is there anything else you're excited about in growing the group? Sounds like we're excited to get some sweatshirts as winter's coming. I know I've seen that in the group, and I'm definitely one of those people in
no pressure, Peter. No pressure.
We just made Peter's head explode.
I know. Well, if you put out something great, I don't know what to tell you. So.
Merchandising.
Yeah, I don't think we have a master plan. I am excited about what are they called? The Galactic Smackdown. The Galactic Planetary Qualifiers. But then the next step up to travel. I love the idea of when that comes up, once we know where it is. Yeah. I feel like having a buddy system, again, that's something that would be really intimidating for me to just think I'm going to show up there by myself. Yeah. But to have a buddy system of people who want to go and then just have that built-in support, I think that once we know more about that, I do think that'll be something that we are helpful with.
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty excited about. Again, I've never traveled it's crazy to me to think, oh yeah, I'm going to maybe travel to go play a card game. Exactly. That's weird, but it's like, hey, that sounds like fun. And so I think I'm pretty excited about doing that and seeing if we can get a bunch of folks going down there. And I know I've talked to several that would be like, yeah, we should totally do that. Sweatshirts, Peter, we'll help you out, buddy. But I think that's that. And then the deck tech thing we just talked about, as we just had that conversation, that seems like something that could be pretty cool. We'll see what we can do to get that organized. And put the effort in there. But I think that would be a pretty interesting thing to do. That's what I got.
Pizza party and
cracking
pre-release.
Some packs.
They cracking packs on opening day, or whatever it is.
Pizza.
Let's do that for sure.
I like that. I like all these ideas. Again, you three, thank you so much for everything you do, for taking the chance, creating the Discord. I know I was one of those people who just checking like what's in Portland, and y'all putting that up has just been super successful. I'm so grateful to see you guys at events and sit and chat and play games, and just again see the growth there, continuing down the line, seeing people essentially pass it on as far as being friendly and inviting. It's just been so great. So again, I'm appreciative for what you guys have done. I know a lot of people in the Discord are, and I'm so glad you guys were able just to come in, answer some of my questions that I think will be helpful for others who are uh, trying to either grow or trying to figure out what is their next steps for their community. But to see something like this for just a city, one area with 200 plus people and growing, it's 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 a great thing. It's a great success, and I think it's something obviously we're proud of because here people are dropping 20 plus dollars on shirts and repping repping the organization. I mean, even I remember when I was picking up my shirt and we were just like, why didn't we just get one of each color? Because we just wanted more. Um, so it's great. So again, thank y'all for that.
No, thank you for doing this, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you're a big part of this community too. I mean, I see you everywhere helping everybody out and your channel and everything. So we're I don't want it to be overblown what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We sort of made a Discord and we're here, but there's so many great people in the community that are helping this thing along as well. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what we said. Like it is a collaborative effort between people, and good people coming in and and chatting and sharing information in stores. And I think that's what makes it a community. Multiple people involved, so it's great. And that concludes our interview with the Star Wars Unlimited Portland chapter. I hope this has been helpful for any of y'all who are looking at growing your communities from either the beginning or just figuring out where to take your community next. Hopefully, this gave you a couple of good insights for community growth, discussions, and ways you can involve your stores. If you're looking for more content like this, make sure you like and subscribe, and just to let me know that if I want to continue interviewing other areas and communities. And if maybe you're a community organizer in your state or city, if you want to come on my platform and sit and let's chat about what's successful so that way other communities can take your ideas and use them to continue to grow this game, I would love for that to happen. So there you go. Open invite there. Appreciate everyone watching and listening at home. Again, thanks so much for giving me your time, and may the force be with you.